No worries. Thanks, Anthony. Just while we queue up the presentation there, first off, thanks for having me along today, and I just want to put a big congratulations out to the organisers. This is a great initiative, and I just hope this becomes an ongoing event for Gippsland. Yeah, righto. Look, I'm just going to touch on a few things like, the theme today is about innovation, but behind the innovation is how you get connected. And as we all move into the online world, I'm just going to talk about a couple of things that are happening in the Gippsland region. And probably the main one at the moment is the rollout of NBN, and we've got Elizabeth down there from NBN as well. So if you've got any curly questions, I'll get you to refer them to Elizabeth later on. But main thing, the NBN rollout, I think we've got around about 70% of the communities in Gippsland are now got NBN available to them. We're still a lot of people that haven't migrated over to NBN, and in some cases people don't have to move over to NBN. It depends on the technology that's available in your community. And there's 6 key technologies available to people in Australia, but probably the main ones that we're seeing in our region is fibre to node. If you're in sort of the larger towns, you've probably seen these green boxes appearing on the nature strips. That's fibre to the node, and that's where probably the majority of the population of Australia is going to be connected to the NBN. In more of the rural areas around mostly our larger towns, they're using a fixed wireless technology, where they will build a tower up and put a dish on your house. And then in the more rural areas, if you don't have access to those technologies, you can access the NBN by satellite. Now, the type of technology that you access is depending on your address, and NBN predetermine what NBN technology you have access to. But where I want to probably spend a fair bit of time today is about the mobile network that Telstra have. I know it's a bit busy side, but just want to explain the breadth and the size of our network. As we all know, Australia's a huge country, and we just can't it's nearly impossible to have mobile coverage right across the total landmass. But at the moment, Telstra's got about 8,600 odd base stations across Australia, so which is equivalent of covering 2.4 million square kilometres. But probably over the last 10 years, the change in traffic on our network, 10 years ago to today, we're handling about 430 times more traffic on our mobile network. Of that traffic 10 years ago, only 1% of the data on the calls on our traffic on our network was made up of data. Today it's 98%. So you think of the changes when we first got our mobile phones, we were calling and texting. Now it's probably the complete opposite. People don't call you, they'll send you a message, which is most likely using data. One of the staggering things, and it was touched on a couple of presentations today, is that the shift in that data, it's moving to video. So by 2020, we expect 75% of the traffic on our mobile network to be moving video, which is a phenomenal way that we're going to probably end up communicating, is it's going to be through that visual. One of the things that we're all impatient. We want it faster, and we want it now. And the way that the mobile network is moving is that potentially the devices we have, our smartphones, the latest ones now are capable of downloading speeds up to 1 gigabit per second. Now, to do that, we need the network behind it. And the way that we go about doing that is that we're using a technology called carrier aggregation. So what we're actually doing is looking at different mobile frequencies and adding them together. So you're essentially making a number of data calls simultaneously, and we're adding that data together to get the high speed. So across Gippsland, at the moment, we're rolling out what we're calling our 4GX network, which is the next evolution of 4G. And we expect to have that completed over the next 18 months. So that would give depending where you are, but the average user around between 75 to 100 megabits per second. As you get into sort of the bigger towns, you'll start to see faster speeds than that. But for the average rural customer, you're looking around that 75 megabits per second. But probably the next big thing that's happening for us is going to be the terminology Internet of Things. What we will find that every device, if it can be connected, will be connected, and that will manage from look at our mobile phones, our homes, but down to our gas and water meters, cars, so trucks, even down to our farms, even tracking cattle. Potentially it'd be all rolled up, it'd be connected and tracked. And we look at before some discussions around big data. All this connectivity is all going to funnel back into a big cloud somewhere, and then people will use that. We look at the concepts that now that some of the appliances are connecting their fridges to the internet, that they can then track what produce we take out of the fridge. Potentially that information gets pushed through to the supermarket. The next minute it's delivered to your home. That concept's available today. And if you use that sort of view, is what else is going to change there? Over the next 3 years, we're expecting that the average person will have 9 connected devices. Now, if you sort of relate that back to your home now, just your Wi-Fi networks, how many iPads, how many televisions, computers, laptops, it's taking off now. We start the Internet of Things, your telly, your fridge, your video cameras, or your security cameras. It's just going to explode. And I think that, from an innovation perspective, I don't think we know what we're going to need within the next 3 years, or the people, the applications that to control this stuff. It's such emerging, it's moving such a fast pace. I've been in the industry for 30 years, and I haven't seen so much change as has happened in the last 5 years. I think 20 odd years ago, when the internet started to roll out in the region, which was dial-up, when we first got that, we thought that was fast. A couple of years later, we thought, oh, that's really slow. And the main concept there was changing. The speed hadn't changed, it was just the content increased. 15 years ago, we had ADSL switched on in our region. We went from ADSL 1 to ADSL 2. We thought that's fast. Now all of a sudden we've got to our ADSL connection. That's really slow now, isn't it? And NBN's come and taking, rolling out. Speeds we got in NBN are great, but what's going to be like in 3 years' time? Because the amount of content that we'll see going over our networks. We're expecting the content on our networks to probably increase tenfold over the next 5 years. So I just don't really think from an innovation perspective, some of those applications are not even invented yet what we're going to use it for. An explosion in video, as Erica said before, is probably going to be one of the main ways we message in the future. Just wanted to, with Telstra, it's started down the journey of the Internet of Things. We've now been able to buy off-the-shelf products that you can plug in and start controlling your home, such as turning lights on and off, smart light globes, adapters that plug into your power point and can turn appliances on. Like now we've just had Google Home released it now. That gives you a voice perspective where you can say, hello Google, and command, and it'll integrate and turn things on, and just the way that changes, it'll take off. So all this happening is you know, we as a company have got a massive investment in the background, because I think of the data that's increasing, we need extremely large pipes to move that data around. So if you look at the backhaul on our average mobile base is probably doubling every 8 months at the moment. So we need to have a network that can scale all that. So there's a lot of investment going in that space. And as we move into the Internet of Things, that we'll start to see, 4G won't be a network that'll be able to maintain it, and then we'll be looking at rolling out our 5th generation network, which would then be looking speeds in the gigabits per second. But one of the challenges we have, you know, we've got such a diverse area, is we have quite a few areas that haven't been commercially viable to invest in mobile coverage. We've partnered with the federal government, what we call a mobile black spot program, where they're co-investing with the federal government, co-investing, and the state government with us in rolling out. So we'll see 21 new towers built across Gippsland. So they're in areas such as, just to call out a few, is, you know, Buchan, Bonang, Dumbork, Sandy Point, Outram, Comwhack, but just a few ones to name that we've switched on, and we'll see a lot more come over the next 12 months. Just to quickly to get the best out of your mobile, all our phones on the Telstra network, we rate them, and the ones that we give a blue tick, they're the ones we recommend to use in the rural areas. They'll give you a bit more sensitive reception's a bit better, and so forth. So if you're looking at a mobile phone, I really suggest you're going to be sort of in the more rural areas, look at a phone that's been rated a blue tick. So for example, you know, the Samsung Galaxy S5 is a blue tick phone. But in some areas where the coverage is might be strong, there's devices out there that we can enhance the coverage, and I've got them over on the desk there. So essentially, if you've got 1 bar of coverage in your house, these devices can turn that into 5 bars of coverage. The other one's just another functionality just been turned on. If you've got the latest smartphones, such the Apple and the Samsung devices, you now can turn on a function called Wi-Fi calling. So you don't need mobile coverage to make phone calls anymore. You just need a Wi-Fi signal. So there's another option there for connectivity. Also, as Telstra, we're very active in the community, and there's a number of programs you run, from kids grants, cyberbullying, running programs in schools, looking at digital literacy within the libraries, and you know, and trying to get our kids across exposed to some of the STEM products and coding and so forth. And as we spoke about the digital inclusion this morning, you know, capability. So that's one of the things we have a number of volunteer programs where we're working with seniors and to help them understand using the internet and so forth. Well, that's probably one of the things I cover off. Is there any questions? Yep, on the other way.
You said that 70% of the content will be on video?
Yep.
Are you talking about kilobytes or talking about time? Because it would surprise me a lot if it was 70% of the time spent is video, whereas 70% of the data consumed, given that videos are very heavy.
Yep. What they're saying, 70% of the content will be switching, will be video content. So yes, it is a lot more content hungry, but people will be using video as potentially as their first choice of communications for data.
So 70% is the data?
Yep.
Yeah, I've just got a question around the reality of 5G arriving on our doorsteps, and no disrespect to our NBN tablet behind us, but it seems to me like NBN is going to become redundant pretty quickly, the investment that's been put into it. Tell me, what does Telstra feel, what's the company policy on 5G? Is it a likelihood that 5G will be that far superior that it's actually going to make the NBN redundant?
Look, I don't think there's any chance of NBN being redundant. 5G is a mobile data solution, where NBN is a fixed solution. So you can't really pick up your NBN connection and move it to another location. 5G is, as we've seen a lot of the applications that now we are running for your smartphone, it's very data hungry, and that's where 5G will give us that. So 5G will probably be potentially in a lot of the urban developed areas, but as your more rural areas, you still rely on 4G. For NBN is, if we look at our homes, we're streaming Netflix. There's a lot of high volume of data being through our homes, and that's where the NBN will be crucial for delivering that. And Elizabeth's probably going to answer this, but what I'm saying is that there's a evolution pathway. You'll find that the NBN today will get faster as demand comes on.
Sorry, if I can add to that.
Yeah.
Through your mobile phone network, that's what's called a party share line. I work in IT, so this is where my background comes from. Party share line, if there's 2 people on the cell, you get a 50% each of that amount of bandwidth they can have. There's 100 people on the cell, you get 100. So the more people on the cell, the more that shrinks down. So the figures that, sorry, I've forgotten what your name is.
Gary.
Gary's talking about is maximum if there's one person right next to the cell. Obviously, with an NBN connection, excluding all the points of connectivity and closed virtual circuit sort of issues, you've got a set contention ratio. So you've got a fixed bandwidth that you will always have. And that doesn't shrink or increase depending on how many people are connected at the time. So that's where NBN's a lot better in that regards, because you've got a guaranteed this is what you're going to get, whereas on a mobile phone system, even though you can get more with the data compression on a 5G versus a 4G, there's a lot of people on that cell. You'll see your speeds just nosedive down. When there's less people on that cell, it all comes up really quite nicely.
Just question me what you said then. Why is it that my 98 megabit per second can
Yep.
get at 380 and more?
So what you're getting is a CBC and point PLI. So closed virtual circuit and points of connectivity issue. What that is some of the resellers aren't buying enough bandwidth at the back end. So it's kind of like being on the freeway at peak hour between 3 p.m. and 9-10 o'clock p.m. There's not enough bandwidth on their back end, so your speed to node is still at that 100-bit connection. So 100 megabit connection, but then going out through onto the internet, because they haven't bought enough, it's like a congestion on a freeway coming out of Monash on sort of out of Melbourne at sort of peak hour.
Thank you.
Versus,
Thank you for sharing.
Just one final question.
So just
Yeah.
a quick question.
Yeah.
So my experience in the region here, I use Optus for my mobile phone. I use Telstra for my 4G when I'm driving around.
Yeah.
Or for internet, and that's been excellent. So I find coverage pretty good. Where I think Telstra falls down is when I want to make changes to my package and I have to contact Telstra.
Yep.
So I find, for example, with Aussie Broadband, if I want to move my package around and do it all online, it takes me about 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with Telstra, I can be on a chat session for a full hour, working it through, getting misunderstandings, and finally we get to a conclusion after an hour, and then we can transfer from one package to another. So the customer experience when you want to change things at the back end is not exactly, shall we say, optimal.
Yep.
So is that going to change in the years ahead? Are you trying to improve? So it's much more self-service, so you can simply click a button and transfer from this package to this package, rather than spending an hour doing the chat.
Yeah, look, that's some very valid things there, and there's a lot of work being going through to digitise a lot of our interactions with Telstra, and simply is that, to be honest, some of the interaction dues are quite complex, and that we're trying to simplify. We're talking about 5 or 6 clicks to change, to do moves and things like that. So we're working pretty hard on it. But because of our complex and various number of products, that's where it's taking time to get that that down too. But yeah, we're certainly working on that. All right. Look, I'll just leave it there. If anyone else has questions, I'll be here afterwards. So come welcome and catch up with me. So, but thank you very much for your time today.